Hi, I'm Stephen with AlbertaUrbanGarden.ca. Welcome to my garden. On today's episode, we're going to talk a little bit about strawberries and different ways you can grow them and propagate them. So we've got three general varieties of strawberries. There's the June variety, which are the big plump ones, which flower about now, which is middle to late May, and are ready by the end of June. Whew, as you can see, it's very warm. We've got Everbearing, which typically produce two crops during the summer, but are a little bit smaller than those June. And then we've got Day Neutral, which are what these seascape strawberries are. Now these seascape strawberries will produce right up until frost, not a problem at all, which is absolutely great for me because I like little snacks in the garden. They came a long way. They actually came from a good friend of ours, Double Dog Farms, and I killed a bunch of them, but last year I just let them take over this bed. So I'm going to try to grow some in hanging baskets, and what I've done is I've actually put some paper in here, some newspaper in here, and that'll just help hold the moisture in while the roots are damaged. And over the summer it'll break down, but it'll also let the moisture percolate through just a little bit slower. So what we're going to do now is we're going to fill these up with a special blend, mulch them and hang them, and then I'll show you another way to propagate strawberries. One thing you should note is most strawberries can't be propagated from their seeds. They don't breed true. So what you need to do is you need to either clone them through runners or simply remove them. Runners are the easiest way to get the most amount, so I'll show you how to do that in the second part of this video. So we're just going to take some compost from the garden and line the bottom, and this will provide its long-term nutrition to the plants while they're growing up. Okay, that should be just roughly about enough. Okay, next thing we're going to do is we're going to add a peat-based potting mix. This will really hold onto the water, and it's nice and light and fluffy so that the roots can easily push through. So I'm just taking actual sod cutter, which I find is better for this. What you want to do is you want to leave a couple of centimeters or a couple of inches around the plant and just transplant one of them into this pot. Give it a pop, trying to keep as much of the soil with it as you can. And then we just fill up the rest with this peat-based potting mix. So you want to leave a lip. You don't want to fill this all the way, and just gently pack it down. And then what you want to do is you actually want to mulch it. Much like the rest of our garden, we want to mulch it so that it doesn't evaporate the water from the surface of the soil. Rather, the plant can get to it and use it. So we'll just tuck that in nicely and go and hang it up. The last step here is it's hanging up on its hook. And you just want to give it a good soaking. So you will need to water this quite a bit. It's got a small volume, but you should be able to get strawberries hanging here, and it helps to avoid pests. These little strawberries should do exceptionally well here. Thank you very much. So it's a couple of weeks later, and as you can see, the strawberry patch is filled out nicely. The other thing now is they're sending runners. They're quite healthy. They're producing fruit, they're flowering, they're sending runners, which means they want to propagate. Runners are the primary way in which most commercial varieties of strawberries are propagated these days. Mostly because if you take the seeds from a strawberry, it's very unlikely, unless it's a wild variety, that it will actually breed true to the type of fruit that you're getting, which means you may have beautiful strawberries on these strawberry plants, but if you take those seeds, you plant them, and you get a plant, it's not going to look anything like that strawberry, right? So why don't you come in on closer and I'll show you how to propagate using runners. One of the things you may want to do is, if you're really focusing on fruit production and you don't need to fill out a bed, is every time you see a runner, just nip the front off, just so that the plant puts its power into fruit production as opposed to reproduction. So what this is a runner. It's got an umbilical cord back to its mother plant, and basically a new plant right on the end here. So all you have to do is take a container, find a nice place to rest it, bury part of the umbilical cord under the soil, and making sure that the bottom of that plant right here has contact with the soil. It will send roots, and in a few short weeks, you should be able to cut the umbilical cord, and this will be a self-sufficient daughter plant. So as you can see, our pots are doing very well, and the key to this is keeping them moist. They're flowering, they're producing fruit, they're doing very, very well. It's the same thing with our runners. You want to make sure that those stay nice and moist so that they have time to root and the juvenile plant can really take hold. Thank you very much for joining me. I appreciate you spending time with me. I hope you have a great day.